In London, we see a kid named Quinn heading to a nearby subway station to meet his mom. Construction was going on there, and his mom, Karen, was supervising the workers. Quinn and his mom were chatting when a worker came over to tell them there was a problem downstairs. They'd found a huge pit during drilling that nobody knew was there before. Excited, Quinn went into the pit to check out what was inside. He just reached the mysterious cave when fire suddenly shot up from the floor, startling him. Then, all of a sudden, the cave walls started shaking. Quinn figured it was actually a really giant creature. The next moment, that creature suddenly spit on Quinn's face. Quinn quickly ran out of the cave to tell his mom about it. Karen got super freaked out seeing Quinn's face and immediately took him to wash it. She was so worried about Quinn that she didn't even pay attention to what he was trying to say. All the workers also understood that something really weird was in that cave. Suddenly, the whole subway station structure started shaking, and that giant creature breathed terrifying fire into the tunnel. Now, Karen wanted to get Quinn out of there. Quinn was still trying to explain that he'd seen a strange giant creature in the cave, and pretty soon, they saw proof with their own eyes. It was a huge dragon that started shaking the elevator structure hard. Karen got a really deep cut on her head from it and died right there. This was one of many dragons that came out of that mysterious cave, and they quickly took over the whole planet. About 18 years later, humans were on the brink of extinction, and even the dragons were starving due to lack of food. Now we see a grown-up Quinn with some folks in a ruined castle on the Scottish border. These people all looked up to Quinn as their leader and respected him a lot. But living in this dragon-infested time was super tough, and now the food shortage was making people want to rebel. That's when a guy living in the castle gathered a group of people to go harvest their crops because there was a serious food shortage. As soon as Quinn found out, he stopped him, saying the crops weren't ready yet. He said to give it a little more time or they'd have even less food later on. A guy named Eddie argued that if they didn't eat today, there wouldn't be a future. And what kind of future? He said the remaining groups they were in contact with stopped communicating 2 days ago. They probably got killed by dragons. Quinn stuck to his guns and didn't give them permission to leave. He also confiscated all the car keys. Anger was brewing on both sides when Quinn's best friend Creedy showed up. At that moment, Eddie was asking if the castle was a jail. Creedy replied that whoever wanted to leave was free, even if their decision caused problems for everyone else. But he also reminded them that once someone left, they couldn't come back. For now, that settled the issue, and Eddie didn't leave. After that, we see Quinn and Creedy putting on a play to cheer up the castle kids. Before bed, Quinn had all the kids do a prayer. It wasn't about God, but a Q&A about what to do and what not to do when they saw dragons. Meanwhile, in the middle of the night, Eddie stole the car keys and woke up his friend Michael. He also told Michael's wife not to say anything to anyone. Soon, a few more people joined them, and then they all stole a car and quietly left through the gate. A little while later, Quinn woke up to the sound of wind and saw a little kid named Liam sitting terrified in the hallway. The kid asked Quinn if that sound was a dragon. Quinn calmed him down, saying it was just the wind. Quinn kept Liam in his room until his fear went away. Meanwhile, Barlow woke up startled by the noise of birds. Over in the fields, Eddie and his friends had already started picking and eating tomatoes. That's when Barlow saw something strange in the sky. He sounded the alarm to make everyone wake up and be alert. Startled by the alarm, Michael's wife decided to tell Quinn everything. Eddie got super scared seeing the dragon breathing fire and killing people in the fields and ran to save his family. Soon he found his wife Rachel, but sadly their son didn't make it. Eddie saw that Michael's face was burned. In trying to escape, their buddy Matt also died. They were super scared of the dragon attacking again, and the dragon spread fire and terror everywhere. Eddie's family was stuck in the middle of the fields, surrounded by fire. Then luckily, Quinn and Creedy changed their minds about not helping Eddie and came to save them. Don was given the job of operating the automatic weapon on the car, and when the dragon blocked their way and breathed fire, poor Don lost his life. Back at the castle, Quinn decided he wouldn't fight Eddie because he had just lost his son, but things were way worse now because the incident had ruined all the crops. The next day at the castle, a guy named Ajay heard some voices on the radio and warned Barlow. Barlow saw a lot of tanks coming towards the castle and sounded the alarm. Everyone in the castle was given a weapon for protection, and Barlow figured they were almost out of ammo. Creedy thought maybe the people coming weren't looking to attack, and that they should be happy there were other survivors. But as soon as the vehicles stopped, Creedy took back his words. These people were from America, and their leader was Van Zandt. Van Zandt explained that he'd rebuilt a plane and made it all the way here. Though the landing wasn't smooth and they'd lost about 100 men, for now they just wanted to spend the night there. Quinn gave them shelter, but he couldn't quite believe Van Zandt's plane story because flying a plane in the dragon's rain was impossible. Van Zandt dismissed Quinn's point, saying he knew the dragon's weakness. He said their eyesight was bad at night, and that's when dragons could be killed. As proof, he showed Quinn a dragon tooth he considered his trophy. Seeing that, Quinn was impressed and ordered the vehicles to be brought inside. Creedy got uneasy with Quinn's decision and laughed at Van Zandt's claim of killing a dragon. He said the last time a dragon was reported killed was 18 years ago, and that was by the army when there still me was an army. But Creedy shut up when Van Zandt's helicopter sliced through the air and arrived. Van Zandt introduced them to a female pilot named Alex. Alex called her crew Archangels because they jumped out of helicopters without parachutes to distract the dragons. Creedy still thought their talk was childish and just laughed at the idea of trapping a dragon in a net, but Alex didn't like his attitude. Quinn told Creedy they needed to be a little cautious because he didn't fully trust these new people yet. At night, Alex and Quinn were chatting in the kitchen. During this, Alex asked Quinn about the kid who was always with him. She asked if he was his son. Quinn told her the kid's name was Gerard, and he'd been with Quinn since he was 3 years old. Quinn and Creedy were leaving that place looking for a shelter. Gerard had been trying to wake up his dead mother for days. Quinn couldn't bring himself to leave him alone and took him along. Alex told Quinn he was really kind. She said if it had been any other guy, he wouldn't have taken on the trouble of a kid for no reason. Quinn took the opportunity to ask Alex what American soldiers were doing coming all the way across the ocean to the UK. Not falling for his trap, Alex replied that it would be better to ask Commander Van Zandt that question. At that moment, Barlow sounded the alarm again, declaring an emergency. Quinn felt embarrassed comparing his security system to the American soldiers' discipline and competence. As the alarm rang, helicopters took off, trucks hit the roads, and 3 men on motorcycles moved forward, forming a triangle to surround the target. Today, it was Alvarez's turn to be an archangel, meaning he jumped from the helicopter without a parachute to distract the dragon. The dragon immediately came behind the helicopter. Van Zandt was worried because the third point to surround the target wasn't set yet. Quinn saw the dragon flying over the castle through his binoculars and the motorcyclists climbing the hill. Meanwhile, listening to Van Zandt and the other soldiers on the radio, AJ found out that the third motorcyclist had lost his life. As soon as Quinn heard this, he rode his horse towards the third motorcyclist to help them complete the triangle. Without the third motorcyclist, locating the dragon was impossible, and not knowing its location would put everyone in the helicopter in danger. Quinn went up the hill, found the fallen motorcycle, and updated the location of the third signal. As soon as the triangle was complete, the dragon's location appeared. Alex then saw the dragon right behind the helicopter, and it immediately attacked the helicopter. Alvarez jumped into the air without warning, and his 2 buddies did too. Alex was guiding them on the radio, and the dragon also followed Alvarez, who looked like a human missile. From right behind the dragon, Gideon and Jefferson attacked the dragon with a net, but the dragon quickly broke free. They couldn't see anything because the clouds were so thick, and Alvarez only saw the dragon when it got very close to him. The dragon burned Alvarez to ashes with its tremendous fire. Alex also saw Alvarez crashing to the ground on the radar. On the hill, Quinn contacted Van Zandt using the motorcyclist radio, and now it was time for Plan B. According to this plan, Quinn would now attract the dragon towards him, and he started running at full speed. Now it was Van Zandt's job to keep him alive. As soon as the horse was seen coming down the hill, Van Zandt attacked with a missile directly in its direction. Quinn suddenly changed direction, and the missile went straight for the dragon behind Quinn. The dragon breathed fire one last time before falling into the castle courtyard. Van Zandt went to the jaws of his dragon kill and took out a tooth as a souvenir. That night, there was a joyful atmosphere at the castle, and everyone was celebrating. But then Van Zandt came there with teary eyes and said it wasn't time to celebrate. He said 3 of his soldiers had died to kill 1 dragon. Quinn completely agreed with him and attended the funeral of those 3 soldiers. He told Van Zandt that this was his home and he'd buried many of his comrades here. He said they'd allowed Van Zandt to stay there, so they had a right to know what he was doing there. Finally, Van Zandt decided to tell him the truth. He'd killed 200 dragons so far, but upon investigation, they found that all of them were female dragons. Their study showed that there was only 1 male dragon that had fathered all the female dragons. And if they succeeded in eliminating that 1 male dragon, the dragons would slowly die out on their own. After scientific research on these dragons, they found that the male dragon was in London. That's why Van Zandt had come all the way across the ocean with his army. Hearing about London, Quinn refused to be part of this mission. He explained that anyone who went to London was usually followed back by more dragons to their hideouts. This would put everyone living in the castle in danger. This led to an argument between them, and Van Zandt left. Alex asked Quinn privately if there was another reason he didn't want to go to London. Then Quinn explained that the dragon that killed his mother was the male dragon. He said it was much bigger than these other dragons. Meanwhile, Ajay came and reported that Van Zandt was gathering people in the castle and giving a speech, and 4 or 5 people were already ready to go to London with him. Quinn ran there in anger and punched Van Zandt. In no time, a fight broke out between them. Now, Van Zandt, full of rage, started beating Quinn badly, which made the other American soldiers come to stop him. Alex felt bad for Quinn and gave him a bottle of medicine to put on his wounds. Van Zandt then started preparing to take more people with him, and even Gerard was secretly ready to leave with the Americans. Quinn saw him and tried to stop him, saying he'd make Gerard the head of the castle, but Gerard said he wanted to be an archangel now. Van Zandt left with his army and several people from the castle to fight the male dragon. Meanwhile, Quinn headed towards the fields to gather the remaining crops, and a little later, Gerard also arrived there. He had decided not to go with the Americans. There was a terrible smell of dead dragon in the fields. Quinn explained that this smell actually kept the dragons away. At night, Quinn went to the dead dragon to see if it was male or female, and when Quinn saw that it was indeed a female dragon, he started believing Van Zandt's words. When Van Zandt's army reached London, they found rubble spread for thousands of kilometers. The whole city was full of dead bodies, which scared everyone quite a bit. Then they saw flames coming from the darkness. Van Zandt ordered that there was no time to measure or decide anything now. They had to attack directly. Everyone reluctantly got ready for the attack. Soon evening passed, and now the dragons could see clearly. In fact, now people couldn't see clearly in the dark, and humans could only fire blindly. In a few seconds, that giant male dragon arrived and burned the entire convoy in flames. Alex was very worried about why no one was responding on the radio, but Ajay on the radio heard their calls and understood that something had gone terribly wrong. When Alex reached the accident site, she saw that Van Zandt and a few other people had survived. In a very bad state, Van Zandt said that the same male dragon had attacked them, and it was so big that it burned everyone in one go. Van Zandt now remembered Quinn's words and understood that the castle was in danger. Quinn was still outside the castle when the male dragon arrived and started causing destruction everywhere. Everyone started running here and there, and by the time Quinn got inside the castle, the whole castle was in flames. He saw that the dragon was right above the castle. Quinn waited for the dragon to leave and then frantically started calling out for his people, trying to find them. Gerard came there and tried to put out the fire with a fire extinguisher. Soon Creedy also found them. Together they started taking the children to the basement. After reaching the basement, Quinn started to go back to bring the others, but Creedy decided to go up instead. Suddenly the dragon attacked again and the two friends didn't even get a chance to say a final goodbye. Creedy sacrificed his life to save everyone else. Quinn was now very disheartened. He wanted to go back up and save his friends somehow, but deep down he knew nothing could be done now. And besides, he had to take care of the children. A few hours later, Alex and Van Zandt arrived there and brought everyone out of the basement. Van Zandt admitted that Quinn was right, and because of Van Zandt, people died there and here too. But that didn't mean Van Zandt had given up. However, Van Zandt was startled to hear that Quinn now wanted to fight. Quinn had now decided that a decisive battle with this devil was necessary. Making Gerard in charge of the castle, he told Van Zandt and Alex his plan. The three of them flew in a helicopter along the river at dusk and reached the center of London. The city was completely destroyed and dragons ruled there now. Alex believed that going further meant risking their lives, but Quinn said he grew up in London and knew the underground routes very well. This would make it much easier for the three of them to move forward. Suddenly, a lot of dragons started flying around erratically in the air. The three of them didn't understand anything because the dragons hadn't seen them and weren't attacking them. Then the male dragon appeared in the sky and made a female its meal. The male dragon had become so hungry that it started eating its own species. Seeing this, all the female dragons flew away, giving the three of them a good chance to move forward. They went through the city's tunnels and reached the same subway station where Quinn's mother Karen had died. The plan now was to bring the male dragon here and attack it with explosive arrows. As Quinn started climbing the elevator, he was overwhelmed by bad childhood memories. This one when his mother had died in that very spot. Understanding the situation, Van Zandt encouraged him, saying to turn his pain into strength. Soon, Quinn started climbing with full josh, enthusiasm. Van Zandt advised the three of them to go in different directions, and as soon as the dragon arrived, all three took their positions. Then Quinn realized he'd lost his arrows. Alex was very scared. She usually fought enemies from high up in the sky. Now, finding herself alone on the ground, she was very terrified. Van Zandt gave Alex orders from on top of the tower to follow the plan. He kept telling her to move forward. Alex overcame her fear and started running, distracting the dragon, and now the dragon also followed followed her. As Van Zandt shot an arrow, the dragon turned towards him at the last minute and neutralized the arrow with its fire. Seeing the dragon coming towards him, Van Zandt wasn't scared and jumped towards it like a warrior. But this time, the dragon swallowed him alive. After Van Zandt's death, Alex and Quinn abandoned the plan of going separately and came together. The dragon was a little hurt by now, but it soon forgot everything and went to eliminate its enemies. Then Alex saw the lost arrow. Quinn somehow ran towards it and prepared to shoot. Time was short, so Alex was firing bullets in front of the dragon to distract it. As soon as he loaded the arrow, Quinn came in front of the dragon, and finally he had a chance to avenge his mother's death. As the dragon opened its mouth, Quinn shot the arrow, and as soon as the arrow hit, the dragon exploded violently. This way, Quinn completed his revenge for his mother's death and saved humanity from complete extinction. If you liked the video, please like it and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.